Yeah, come and take a look at the snow. Bright white as far as your eyesight goes. Come and take a look at the fields of snow. I'll just get my coat, then we're good to go. Come and take a look at the lake. Let's have a quick skate before it gets late. Come and take a look at the frozen lake. Put your clothes on, mate, don't make that mistake.
Greetings, holiday shoppers. There are now 313 shopping days left until Christmas, and I think you know what that means. It means it's time for another episode of Christmas Creeps, your one-stop shop for holiday movies and TV shows all year round. Hi, my name is Joseph Wade. I will be your host for this evening. Here with me tonight on the podcast are my co-hosts, Johnny Five, the human robot.
Hey, I'm happy. I knew what that meant this time. I was right.
Oh, it took long enough, right? 113 episodes, it finally clicked, right?
Yeah, I'm starting to notice a pattern here.
Why change the formula this late in the game? Okay, and
I'll leave you hanging there. Don't worry.
But also joining us, as always, is Mr. Bradford. Brad, what's shaking? That was a very weak can rip, sir.
Get it? Because I'm your silent partner.
Wow, I didn't see that one coming.
It's also because it's a seltzer. We all know that seltzers don't make as good of a beer noise as beer.
Well, let's find out, shall we? Hang on.
Oh, that sounded crisp and refreshing.
This isn't even a beer right now.
Well, could have fooled me.
I'm drinking a hard iced tea because I'm a
fancy lad.
Fancy lad piece of trash. Gentle friends, happy Valentine's Day.
Thanks.
This isn't strictly...
What did you get me?
I got you a good movie for once. What'd you get me?
Same, honestly. It's a gift to each other that we get to actually watch an honest-to-God actual good movie for once.
I would even take away the qualifier of good and just say an honest-to-God movie for once.
Yeah, no kidding.
Like,
for real. I think... Are we just so starved for good entertainment that just by the sheer fact that this was a real movie, we thought it was good?
That is definitely very much a possibility. So to give you a little behind the scenes of what we're doing tonight and why. So we're honoring the passing of the late, great Christopher Plummer tonight on the show. And we wanted to watch a Christopher Plummer movie because we knew he had been in a few Christmas films. So we looked online to see what the options were, and we had three options. One was a film called The Man Who Invented Christmas, which is about Charles Dickens writing A Christmas Carol, and Christopher Plummer plays Ebenezer Scrooge in the film. And if I'm being honest, that sounds awful. Doesn't sound like our kind of almost said show, our kind of film. So then the second option was a children's film called Blizzard, where Christopher Plummer plays Santa Claus. It's directed by LeVar Burton, so right there, like, that's kind of interesting. But it's also only available on the Christian movie streaming site PureFlix, which none of us have. So that
shocker.
That was right out. And finally, the third and final option was a film from 1978 called The Silent Partner, where Christopher Plummer plays a mall Santa who robs a bank. And that was all we needed to know going into this movie. Like, that was like the only thing that sold us on this film. And then we watched it and discovered that that's very much, I mean, that's a part of the film, but it's a very small part of that film.
Yeah, it's like the first act at best. Mr. Plummer is still in the rest of it, but the Christmas act is only act one.
Yeah, and this is one of those films that it takes place over the holidays. It starts December 15th, and I think it runs well after. So So Christmas exists in the world of the film. So we're not just doing it for no reason. I mean, we kind of are.
We have had more tenuous connections.
Yes, Virginia, there's a Santa Claus in this film. So I guess first impressions, J-Man, you've been kind of quiet over there. What are your first thoughts?
I really like watching like a 70s movie that doesn't really feel the need to be about anything or really have anything happen in it. Just like, I mean, not that this movie didn't have a plot, but the movie just kind of meandered. I'm there for it.
You just like the experience of kind of wallowing in the 70s.
Yeah, it's kind of like watching Taxi Driver, where it's like Taxi Driver just takes a long time to really get to the point of what the hell's going on, and you don't really mind it.
Yeah, that's definitely true. You spend a long time in between sort of the initial setup and sort of the, I guess, final payoff, where it's just you're following Elliot Gould, who's the star of the film, around doing his thing. That's pretty much all he is. It's him doing his thing. Brad, what about you? First impressions.
I enjoyed this a lot, and kind of for the same reason as John. In this workaday world, it's nice to have a movie which takes its time, and we get to watch a man doing bank stuff for like 5 minutes before any real plot happens. And you know what? That's okay. I'm here for it. It's a mood.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's also just like being able to watch the process of how banks operate in an age when movies move so fast now. It's just kind of nice to sit back and just watch this stuff work.
Yes.
I feel like this is going to be very much of a piece with Black Christmas and Christmas Evil, and not just because they're grisly Christmas films that are made in the late 70s, but just because they take their time showing you the world of this film, of the story.
Yeah. Actually, I thought about Christmas Evil a lot while watching this.
Same here. That was my closest comparison.
And also, it's just kind of grisly in the best and worst ways.
Is this the first movie we've watched with full frontal nudity?
Huh.
There's a lot of nudity in this film. If you are afraid of what is the stupid term that Tumblr used? Female presenting nipples. Stray away from this film.
Oh.
There was this, when Tumblr basically shot itself in the foot by instituting like a no porn rule, which is, if you've spent any time on Tumblr, for the fandoms that use it, it's all porn. They had like this very specific rule, like set of rules, and one of them was like no female presenting nipples.
Ah, okay.
I don't know like what board meeting they came up with that specific turn of phrase, but
if I remember right, Instagram had a policy once that it basically tried to dictate how much titty you could show before it was too much titty. And it was like, it basically said it had to be 1/4 covered, and the phrase they used was female breast nipple.
Female breast nipple?
I might be remembering that wrong, but I think it was Instagram.
It has to be 1/4 covered, and you can't see any of the nipple, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
I never thought in my entire life I would hear a description of breasts and think it was Orwellian, but there it is.
Female breast nipples.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's Instagram, but I'll go ahead and blame them because, fuck them.
No, that sounds about right.
Yeah, social media in general has gotten more draconian of late, and that's kind of just another example.
Desperate.
Are they?
Every day I get at least three notifications like suggested friend, and it's just some random fucking person. Like, playing the Kevin Bacon game, they probably have like a score of 8 or 9 with me on trying to find a common connection. And Facebook's just like, you haven't clicked in a while. What? How about this?
I went on a tear last year where I just went on Facebook and started hiding every single ad I came across, trying to minimize my ad space footprint on Facebook, and it's made the experience so much more enjoyable.
When I was frequently using Twitter, I did the same thing on Twitter. You're doing it right when you've blocked so many companies that run ads that you're getting ads for like scholarly journals on metallurgy, or my personal favorite, when you get them in a language you don't even know what language it is.
Oh my god.
Chef's kiss. Perfect. Those are the ads I want targeted towards me.
Well, with my Facebook example, I knew I had done it successfully when like the next ad that popped up was an ad for a theme park in Tbilisi.
Yes. Hell yes. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
And I looked at it, I was like, you know what? I'm into this. I'm going to let this one stay.
I would have clicked it.
So now Facebook thinks I'm interested in that. Which may be to my detriment, but whatever. And also I get like you can click on certain ads now, and I'll see Facebook will tell you this is an ad sponsored by Russian state media.
Oh, cool.
So great. Now I know it's actually the thing that's been happening to our country is actually happening in front of my face. Great. Thanks a lot, Facebook. So speaking of public services, I feel like it's time to bring back the 60-second film summary game. What do you say?
Sure.
Would anybody like to volunteer for this special occasion?
Yes. I think I can do it so long as I don't have to use any characters' names.
Okay.
Or
so,
if you can give me a dramatis personae before we start.
Miles is Elliot Gould.
That'd be super good. Miles, yep.
Lady, it works.
let's do this. Miles Cullen is Elliot Gould. He's the main character. The girl, quote unquote, which yes, we'll get into that whole mess. Julie, played by Susanna York.
Yup.
The bank robbing mall Santa in question is Christopher Plummer, whose character name is.
It's
Does
like
he even
Rank or something like that? Yeah, it's only a last name.
It's
Rankle.
Rankle. Yeah.
Okay.
Rankle.
Miles, Julie, Rankle, and then we have the French lady. This is all I need, honestly, for the bare bones plot summary.
Yeah, the French lady
I don't even think I need Julie, honestly.
I mean, that's a bad sign, but that's not your problem. Okay, so if you're new to the show, what we like to do on here is I will give Bradford 60 seconds to describe or to explain as much of the plot of this film as he can. If he can get through it in less than 60 seconds, any time remaining, we will donate that dollar amount to some charity to be determined at some later date, and we'll put that on Twitter once we make that official.
You didn't give me the French lady's name.
Her name is Elaine.
Elaine.
Elaine
Okay.
Bennis.
Yes. So we've got Miles, Julie, Rankle, and Elaine. Okay.
I feel like
stretching right now.
Yeah, I feel like you're cheating a little bit right now already.
No. I just need to frame. Everybody gets a moment to think about it. I just need to remember the names of these characters. I didn't take notes because I was too into the movie.
Well, that's a good sign.
Okay. Put me in, coach. I'm Reggie Toupee.
All right. Bradford?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, go.
Miles works at a bank. He's a bank teller. He finds a note one day and realizes that a mall Santa is preparing to rob said bank. However, he pulls a fast one by taking money out of the till prior to the robbery so that the robber, Rankle, takes only some of the money. However, the media coverage tips Rankle off to this. He begins to try to get the money back from Miles and is attempting to stalk and kill him. Miles gets him framed for a crime that he didn't commit and put away. He thinks he gets away with it. However, months later, Elaine shows up, who is a new love interest, and basically is working for Rankle to get the money back. Rankle gets out, ends up killing Elaine, and chases after Miles. Miles pulls another fast one by luring him back to the bank and getting him arrested this time while still keeping all of that money in the briefcase. He quits his job and goes with his original love interest, Julie. The end.
Bradford?
Did I go over?
I hate to tell you this.
What?
Actually, I don't know how this works. You went 11 seconds over, 71 seconds.
I have to go steal $11 from charity now.
Yes.
You know what? I'll donate $11 to charity since I went over. I think that's the new rule.
I'm
so bad at this.
We will march you up to the front door of St. Jude's Children's Hospital, and you will request $11 back.
$11, please.
Please, this podcast said so. I'm begging you.
No, I'll donate $11 to something.
Okay.
But I get to choose.
Bradford
Maybe. We'll see.
Gets to choose. But that just shows you the twists and turns in this plot. It is actually far more complicated than just Christopher Plummer robs a bank dressed as Santa.
Also, point of order, you said arrested at the end. He got murdered by a security guard.
Wait, did I say he got arrested?
Spoiler alert.
Yes.
Oh, Well, if you think about it, a murder is kind of a very special arrest.
God arrested him.
God, that's so terrible. In this day and age, we probably shouldn't be saying that, but...
Knock on
Yeah.
wood, yeah. That's a little much.
No, you're right. He gets shot at the end and killed in a very interesting scene where he's trying to run up an down escalator.
In heels, might I add.
In heels, no less. That's no small feat when you've been shot twice.
Yeah, it's just like the rest of this film. It is quite an achievement. I feel like we're overselling how much we enjoyed this film already.
I don't know. I liked it to the point where I had to stop halfway through, or most of the way through. I wanted to get back to it, which is not something that usually happens when we watch movies on this show.
Oh no, to the point where one of you before the show asked, "Why don't we watch good movies all the time?" And my only response was, because we're stupid. That's all I can think, is we're stupid, and we do this to ourselves on purpose.
For your entertainment.
And my response was, the Venn diagram overlap between good movie and Christmas movie is about like 4 movies total ever.
It's like a sliver.
Hence this podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess, Bradford pretty much went over the whole plot, so... takers, who wants to...
Good night, everybody.
Who wants to go first?
I can get more into it a little bit.
Well, so
there's a whole... I didn't even touch on like romantic subplots, intrigue and comedy that occurred in this quote unquote comedy.
Okay, well then let's go through let's talk about the romance, because it's almost incidental to the plot, but it also feels like that's most of the movie.
It colors a lot of the characters in not a very good way either.
Mm-hmm.
Not a very good way. So at the beginning of the movie, we have Jonathan Gould, who's playing Miles. He's working as a bank teller, and his coworker...
What's the actor's name?
Elliot Gould.
Okay.
Did I say it wrong first?
You said Jonathan Gould.
Well, I'm thinking of... I don't know what I'm thinking.
You're thinking of Jonathan.
Anyways.
Yes, I'm in this movie.
Jonathan 5 is in this movie. No. We have Miles, who is a bank teller in Toronto. It's Christmas time, and he's making eyes at his coworker. Help me out here again, please.
Julie.
Julie.
Yeah.
Asks her out for a drink, but we come to find out that the boss man, the pit boss, the manager, whatever, is having an affair with Julie without his wife's knowledge, or so we think. However, the boss asks Miles to basically take her to the bar and keep her company until he can get there. So there's this whole small element where, he wants to go out with Julie, but Julie's currently taken because she's with the boss man.
Right, and she's also in kind of an awkward situation with him, which leads to an awkward situation with Miles, where the boss then asks Miles to take Julie to the boss's house for a Christmas party so that the missus doesn't get suspicious.
Right, so that it looks like she has a date.
Right,
more or less.
It gets a little twisted, and then it only twists further.
Correct. While all this is happening, Miles is cleaning up sort of the bank teller, the front area where they have the carbon copy pads. Do they even have those anymore?
I don't think so.
And he finds that somebody had written a bank robbery note, but had torn it away, but hadn't taken the carbon copy, and it said, ho, 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 I have a gun. No, it doesn't say ho, ho, ho.
Now I have a machine gun. Ho, ho, ho. No. I don't want to tell Hans Gruber that. No. Get rid of that.
It's your typical bank robbery notes. Mm-hmm. Give me all the money. I have a gun.
Now, do you think it was? Do you think it was a practice note, or do you think it was his first attempt and he got cold feet?
I think it was his first attempt and he lost his nerve because the bank was like very crowded and everything like that. He's looking around over his shoulder. It's very obviously the mall Santa before they even have the big reveal. But also we've read a plot summary before we started reading this, so maybe there's that.
And also, I mean, the poster is a Santa Claus wielding a gun. I mean, the cat's
probably that too.
The cat's kind of out of the bag at that point.
I mean, it's not really a big reveal. It happens the first 10 minutes of the movie.
It's no mystery.
But Miles figures this out, that it's the mall Santa, because he has a very peculiar way of writing a G, and the mall Santa is carrying around a giant poster that has a bunch of G's on it.
I feel like it should be noted, it's not like the mall Santa Claus that children have their picture taken with. It's a Salvation Army Santa Claus.
Correct. And it's a mobile Salvation Army Santa Claus. He's walking around.
So honestly, you would think that would be a grift enough to be like a fake Salvation Army Santa Claus and just have people give you money.
But no, you're going to rob a bank too.
Okay.
So Miles figures this out, and we see him, predictably nervous about this, but then we see him go home, and all the time, all of his coworkers are kind of, giving him shit because he lives by himself. He has a fish collection. He's just kind of a peculiar guy.
Yeah, it's not even like Troy McClure level fish tank. It's just like this dude just likes fish.
Yeah, it's fine. It's a perfectly normal fish tank, honestly. Maybe in the 70s that was weird.
Right.
I don't know.
I mean, to the point where you're right. They give him shit for having like this weird hobby of collecting fish. Which,
what else the fuck are you gonna do in Toronto in the 1970s?
Play ice hockey. That's literally the only thing is ice hockey.
Coke, because it's the 70s.
Yeah, that's true. No, but so I guess they're trying to portray this all leading up to Miles having a bright idea, and we see him go home and get out a lunchbox and put some money into it, and then take it to work.
What is it?
What's this
guy
up
to? It's a Superman lunchbox, right?
It is a Superman lunchbox.
Yes. I was gonna say there's some importance to that lunchbox, but no, there's no ulterior motive depicting that lunchbox. It's just Superman.
So he goes into work the next day, and he has a bunch of merchants in the mall all make deposits at his till.
Hey,
into the bank. What?
Hey.
It might even be worse. Did this movie come out before or after Superman the movie?
It was. Superman the movie came out in. Okay, so the plot thickens. Superman came out in December of 1978. The Silent Partner came out in September of 1978. Huh.
You know why I'm asking, right?
No, I don't.
Susanna York was in Superman.
You're right. She was Miss Tessmacher.
And I don't think it's actually a reference. I think it's just a wacky coincidence.
Wacky coinky dink. Okay, that's fair. Oh, I should take it back. She wasn't Miss Tessmacher. Susanna York played Clark's mother. She played Laura. Anywho.
So he starts putting all of the money that he gets throughout the day into this lunchbox rather than the till. We're like, what's this guy up to? He's obviously up to something. Come to find out, when Santa Claus rolls back into town and actually goes through the robbery this time, he gives him all of the money out of the till. However, he's a little wise to this. He says, no, you fucker. Give me all the money. So Miles is panicking, and he pulls the hundreds out of the bottom of his drawer, which trips off an alarm and sends the Santa. I'm just going to call him Santa.
Yeah.
Even when he's not in a Santa outfit, I'm just going to call him Santa. No. Sends our robber running.
Now this was,
and he gets away.
But this was another point where like I was glad they included that little bit, because I'd always wondered like how silent alarms in that era worked, and I feel like I learned something having watched it. Not that I can apply it in my daily life, because even if I wanted to, I'm sure banks are a little more sophisticated 40 years later. So
I think they have the foot buttons now. Most of them
probably, yeah. There's a smartphone something or other. I mean, it's gotta be more complicated. This is not.
And while the security guards are still 180 years old, now they give them machine guns. So
That's true.
That's
We have, in
true.
fact, militarized the security guards of the world, so congratulations for that. But also, this is the
also-
point where I wasn't sure if Miles was doing this, he was stashing away the money as a safeguard because he knew this bank robber was coming, or if he was trying to capitalize on this opportunity.
Yes, I had the same question myself. We come to find out that he did indeed capitalize on this opportunity.
Yes.
And stashed most of the money away for himself. So
Hence the title of the film, The Silent Partner.
The Silent Partner. So we smash cut away to Kluber. What's his name again? Come on. Give me
Wrinkle.
Wrinkle. I'm just gonna call him Wrinkle.
Rankle.
Smash cut away to Wrinkle, who's in like a weird bar / bathhouse / sauna / brothel / gym.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot going on in this building.
/ Pizza Hut / Taco Bell.
Yeah, no kidding.
I'm in the brothel. I'm in the bathhouse. I'm in the combination brothel.
I'm in the combination brothel and bathhouse. We smash cut away and they're watching the media coverage, and all of the employees of the bank are getting interviewed, and they keep rattling off this figure, 48,000 or so. And Wrinkle realizes that he's been had, and he only has, a small portion of that money, like $3,000. So he smashes a girl's head in, basically.
Do we want to talk about that? Because I feel like that's one of those scenes that is, I mean, I don't want to say problematic, but even now is just
it's problematic too, because didn't they say she was a minor in the movie?
So she was a teenager.
Oh yeah, she's a teenager,
okay.
But I mean,
still,
even that seems like a step too far to vilify this character.
Yeah.
Did you have to resort to nearly murdering a young woman? Isn't him being an armed bank robber enough? I guess not.
So there's a scene where he's irate about losing this money, and a young girl comes in and starts trying to become intimate with him. Why or what the circumstances are behind that, we're not entirely sure, but he just punches her in the face and then puts his foot up to her head. Thankfully the rest of it is off screen, but he almost stomps her entire face in, and they have to call the police for that. So we see a little bit of that cut, a little wrinkle in Wrinkle's character.
Ooh, I like what you did there.
Oh, I don't deserve any credit for that.
And now,
all right, you don't get any then.
What?
I said, all right, you don't get any then.
Okay. So we cut over to the Christmas party where Miles has taken Julie, and he's the talk of the town, and everybody's talking about the money and all that good stuff. And what do you think the robber's going to do with the money? Everybody's philosophizing. Oh, there's also a new employee, a new female employee who starts going out with one of the other bank employees.
She starts dating a bank employee named Simonson, and Simonson looks very familiar. And to this point, I realized, holy shit, John Candy's in this movie.
Yes, he is. Not very long, but he's in it.
He doesn't do anything he doesn't do anything funny. He's not the comic relief. He's just a background character, and it's just kind of delightful that he's even here.
Yes. So there's a little subplot about this that doesn't really go anywhere, and I guess it's supposed to be comedy. I don't know.
What do you mean it doesn't? They get fucking married.
They do, but she's pregnant when they get married, and the quote unquote joke is it's not John Candy's baby. It's the dude that she was doing it in the bathroom with when Miles went to get weed during the Christmas party.
Oh,
yeah, because he gives that other. I don't even think that character has a name. It's the other skinny guy who's his one character trait is pervert. He works at the bank, and he's at the Christmas party, ends up with the new employee, but then she ends up marrying John Candy, and she's like, oh, I'm pregnant. And then it's like, we had a little too much fun at the Christmas party. And then Miles looks at skinny guy A, frightened inmate number A.
Yeah, because there was a shot right before that of John Candy passed out in a fucking chair at the Christmas party.
Yeah, exactly.
So hang on a second. So remember how earlier I said that the film takes place over Christmas and then a little bit later. So this is the only way we know how long, like what span of time this film covers, because
we can date it.
Because
that's
she's 4 months pregnant when they get married, so it at least goes through April. That's amazing. Yeah.
There you go.
That's awful. I love it.
Yeah, because the wedding takes place at like a beach, and it's not like a destination wedding, so it has to it's at least halfway decent.
It's
weather.
A beach in Canada. Yeah,
it's got to be at least May, I would say.
They would be on Lake Ontario, I would guess.
That's fair.
Yep. So, anyways, back to where we were in the plot. Due to all of these interviews and everything else, basically Wrinkle knows exactly where Miles is, and that he figures out that he has the money. So he begins stalking him and threatening his life. And we have a bit of a cat and mouse game for this for a while.
That makes up the majority of the film too.
And it's tense. It's actually tense. It's pretty
legitimately
good.
Is.
There's a scene where he brings Julie home from the Christmas party, and they're having kind of like a will they won't they moment. They're both drunk, and it's probably a good idea Miles didn't go through with it. But anyways, Wrinkle starts calling on the phone and, suggesting that bad things are going to happen. Just like you're doing a bad thing right now, bud.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You're both not in the proper mind. But Julie is put off by this. So she goes home, and their relationship...
No, I want to correct that. She's put off by Miles, like, being weird about shit. Her entire character is she is pissed off at Miles for never wanting to, like, go through with shit with her.
Right. I mean, I feel bad for Julie as a character.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
She gets pulled around a lot, even at the very end of the film.
Yeah. She's in love with a shithead.
At what point? Exactly. They're all shitheads.
Yeah, everyone sucks here, basically.
Yeah. I mean, it's
this entire movie.
It goes together with sort of the moral ambiguity of the film of, Miles stealing the money, and was that a good thing or not? And obviously it's not a good thing, but he didn't stick up a bank with a gun. He didn't threaten to murder anybody. And it's
if you're gonna steal someone's money, might as well steal the bank's money. I mean,
yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it.
Christmas Creeps does not endorse the cool crime of robbery, but rob the bank, they're not going to miss it. They're insured.
Especially at the end of the movie when like Boss Man is like telling him off with a bunch of stupid bullshit everybody knows is bullshit, where they're like, we have the money and it's important that because we're the people that handle the money. This job is very important and you need to straighten your tie, young man.
And he's dressing him down this basically for not smiling at work is the equivalent of his complaint. It's awful.
It's the worst, and it makes me have zero sympathy for the bank. I mean, not that I did before, but
listen, robbing a bank with a gun is obviously bad, but then white collar crime is barely a crime. I don't know.
This movie, yeah. Very morally ambiguous.
Asks the hard questions, as they say.
I think we can all agree that nearly murdering a teen girl and also various other crimes that happen in this movie are super not good.
Yeah, I mean, look, depiction is not endorsement. This character is obviously a terrible person.
All right, so they're having a cat and mouse game of, this guy trying to get his money from Miles, also threatening to kill him. Miles eludes him and stalks him back to his place of residence, ends up stealing a van and then framing the guy for it, and getting him locked away, basically, to get him off of his back. Right. He's also put all the money in the safe deposit box. There's this whole subplot, too. He puts the money in a safe deposit box at the bank and then hides the keys in a jar of jelly.
Which is, on its face, brilliant for a while
until it's summertime, and we have a scene where the cleaning lady is in the house right after his father died, which that does link into the
Okay,
plot,
yeah.
now
So
that I think about
we
it.
should run it back.
Somebody else
Okay,
take over.
so-
Bradford's getting tired.
Bradford's getting upset. So Miles Cullen, he opens his own safe deposit box to hide the money. And because, who's going to think that a bank teller is going to have their own safe deposit box at their own bank? It's like,
Would he have it at a different bank?
I mean, maybe that would be a good, well, no, maybe not. Because honestly, if a bank teller opened a safe deposit box at another bank, somebody would notice. It's like, hey, you work at that other bank, don't you? Not a good idea. So I guess it makes sense. But then Miles goes to visit his father in the retirement home. And it's here that I wrote a serious question in my notes, because we see a bunch of kids singing Christmas carols to all the old people at the retirement home. And they're singing Away in a Manger, but it's the wrong tune. Like the
Yes,
So
I noticed that too.
It's very off key.
the words are correct, but
It's-
the tune is not. Like, it's not even off key. It's just they're singing it to a different tune.
Yeah, it's like when you hear the fucking like Jackson 5. Is it Jackson 5 version of Santa Claus is Coming to
Yeah.
Town? Or I guess the Springsteen did that version
Yes.
too.
legally distinct. But the thing is, I don't think Away in a Manger is copyrighted, is it?
I don't think so. I want to say that's a lot older than that.
Yeah, but it's
Away in a Manger was written in 1882. It's well before copyright, came into being.
Yeah.
So there's no rhyme or reason to it. I guess maybe it's just an odd detail that I picked up on that we shouldn't be belaboring.
maybe it's the thing it's Canada. It's a Canada problem. Like they put milk in bags, they sing Away in a Ranger wrong. Those are the two main differences.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Canadian and if this is how you sing it up there, please let us know, because I'm confused.
It's not better or worse. It's just like how they have Thanksgiving on a different day.
Yeah, it's like y'all have ketchup flavored potato chips up there, and I don't understand why we don't have those here.
Because we have real flavors like Cool Ranch.
Anywho, so that scene happens. Then we get to the Christmas party. Miles takes Julie home. He hides his key in a jar of jelly. He has the cat and mouse game with Santa. He gets Santa thrown in jail for a crime that Santa didn't commit.
No, for a crime Santa did commit. Santa's thrown in for beating and raping the girl at the brothel Taco Bell.
Yeah.
I was mistaken.
So here's
He frames him to get him taken into the station.
Oh,
but
and then
he
they-
gets actually locked away.
Yes, then they
for-
book him for the crime he actually committed. Correct. Okay.
Yes.
And here's an important thing. They take Miles before a police lineup because they're like, oh, this guy's done robbery before. Maybe he's the Santa robber.
Yes.
And Miles explicitly doesn't pin it on him.
Yeah. In fact, this is good. So initially they show him a lot of like photo cards of potential criminals, and he fingers one of them. Not like that. He names one of them, and it's like, oh,
Good night, everybody.
no, I said fingerprints. He points out one of them, like this guy with a real shaggy beard. And then much later in the film, when he's got the criminal lineup, he points out the guy with a much shaggier beard. And the police are like, that's the same character that you pointed to earlier in the film. That's very good of you. So they think he throws them off the scent, basically.
Yes.
It's a good attention to detail. But then, yeah, so it's Christmas Eve, and we're at the funeral of Miles's father. And this woman shows up. Her name is Elaine, and she says that she was his nurse in the retirement home. And she comes on to Miles by telling him how much his father loved him, all the things that his father said to her about him, all these things. And they start having a relationship. Miles takes Elaine to John Candy's wedding. It's a very fun time. And it's at this point that I wrote in my notes, she's not really who she says she is she?
Oh, that was obvious from the drop.
Oh, I know. I mean, it's just, listen, I'm sure in the 70s, Elliot Gould was like the hottest thing since sliced bread. Watching it now, I'm like, what does she have on him? Because it doesn't make sense.
I'm just remembering the Simpsons episode where that girl tells Barney, I would go out even if you were Elliot Gould.
So it must have been a thing at some point, and we're just all too young to remember it. But yeah, so Elaine is obviously in on the grift. Rankle sent her to butter up Miles to get her to tell her where the money is. But she falls for Miles like you do, because Elliot Gould is just that much of a charmer. And
because this is a movie,
and Elliot Gould is definitely a thing.
Definitely a dreamboat.
Whoa.
Take me away.
Watch out, ladies. So J5, what take it away from here, because I'm starting to lose the plot.
Starting to think about Elliot Gould is more like it.
Starting to get all hot and bothered under the collar.
All right, so eventually Cullen does tell Elaine where the money is, because they kind of come clean that not only does she admits that, like, after they sleep together, she admits that, like, oh yeah, no, I'm totally working with Rankle, and he's like, by the way, you don't work for the nursing home I called. And when she admits that, he's just like, there's a cat attacking my microphone.
Yes, that's a weird thing to say.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah. Sorry. So he's like, by the way, I called the nursing home. They said you never worked there. And she's like, oh, okay. Yeah, I totally work with Rankle then. He's like, cool. Well, I'm telling you that now. After we fucked, I still wanted to fuck you.
Yeah.
So they fall in love, or something close to it. They like fucking.
Like you do.
She comes in disguise after a little bit to help him get a new key made for the safety deposit box. She comes in posing as the owner, being like, oh, mon Dieu, I lost my keys. And they call the locksmith in. It's kind of a weird, tense scene, because they're trying to get everything done in the hour that Julie is on lunch.
Yeah. Right, because Julie is the one in charge of the lockbox keys.
And the other problem is she might actually recognize Elaine because she was at the wedding.
Yes.
So they get that sorted out, get the keys remade. Eventually, at a dinner, Elliot gives her the key because he's like, oh, I trust you now. Because before he wouldn't let her have the key because he didn't trust her, he said. Or not that he didn't trust her, he wouldn't have her key. It's some dating bullshit. Whatever.
Yeah.
That's why I got married. I don't have to deal with dating bullshit anymore.
Yeah.
That's my recommendation. If you're bad at dating, just get married.
Highly recommend.
If you hate playing the board game, just skip to the end. If you hate reading that book, just skip to the end.
So then Rankle gets out. He says, oh, they leaned on the girl, got her to recant her testimony. He drags her to Elliot's apartment, smacks her around a little bit. She's just like, you know what? Elliot's still better than you. So he throws her through a fish tank and then chops her head off with the broken fish tank.
It's a bit much. We do get this one on screen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought for a moment it was just, oh no, he kills her by cutting her throat on the fish tank, and then it gets so much worse.
Yep.
The back end of this film is actually quite grisly, and if you're not prepared for that, you're gonna have a weird evening.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Rankle is out of jail, and I gotta tell you, like before he goes to jail, he's a kind of menacing. He has the weird bathhouse scene, which is awful, but it's just like, okay, that's weird. But when he's out of jail, like, the film seems to realize, like, oh, this guy is evil. He's out for blood. Like, it starts to shoot him from a different angle or something, because Christopher Plummer has this real menacing look on his face, and it's kind of hard to look away.
Yeah. But throughout all of this, he still misses the deposit box key.
Right.
Because when Cullen comes home, he finds a head in a fish tank, a corpse on the ground. He gets the deposit key. He wraps her body up in a rug and takes it to where they are building the new bank vault and throws her in the cement to get mixed into the foundation.
Yes, because
they're never very clear on how he got away with that, because, like, it's daytime at the construction site, and he's just kind of looking down.
And they're actively pouring the concrete at that moment.
It's like, oh, a dead body, right? Well, go on ahead. Just another Thursday.
Don't mind me. I'm just dumping my trash here at the construction site. But that's...
Yeah, the construction was like, hey, you're a Teamster, right? Yeah? Okay, carry on.
It's okay. But that's another thing. Like, they seed that throughout the film. Like, the boss is talking up the fact that they're getting ready to build a brand new, like, concrete steel reinforced bank vault. So like even that gets seeded early, and then it pays off at the end in just an awful way.
Oh, there's also a little foreshadowing too, where one of the characters, I think it's, not Elaine. Oh God,
Louise?
one of the characters is like, sounds more like a tomb.
Yeah,
or grave.
Yeah.
Sounds more like a gravestone.
Ooh, yeah.
See what you
Little
did there.
foreboding, yeah.
Yeah. Anyhow,
So the money's
and
sorry.
so the Elliot Gould Colin is there. He's then Rankle shows up and he's just like, all right, fine. That was pretty good how you managed to dispose of that body after I killed her. I'm halfway impressed. So why don't you just give me the money and I'll kill you and we'll be done. And Colin's like, well, I'll give you the money. You have to come to the bank and get it, though.
Yeah, come get it
'cause
yourself.
it's at the bank.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, well, they're going to recognize me. No, wear your Santa suit. It's like, wait, this is like July now.
Yeah, that's not going to work anymore.
But so eventually the next, he tells him like, whatever, come in around 10 after the morning rush clears out, we'll sort it out. I'll have the money ready for you. Just, act natural and I'll give it to you. So then Rankle shows up the next day, right when the bank opens, dressed as a woman, like in drag.
Full Tootsie out attire, yeah.
Yes, like,
Yep.
like the comparison that came to mind, and I'm mad this comparison came to mind because it's a shitty fucking movie, was Willem Dafoe and Boondock Saints.
Okay. Yeah.
It had that same kind of like, this guy isn't heteronormative, that means he's a bad guy type of vibe to it as Boondock Saints does. And Boondock Saints is a shitty fucking movie.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Especially at the very end during his death, they it seems like the angle used and like the reveal, I don't know. Like they seem to play that up a lot.
The thought that they're trying to get you to have is, wow, Christopher Plummer makes a very lovely woman. Which is an odd thing to think at the end of this bank robbery film. Especially in the final moments when he does definitely get shot to death by police.
Yeah. I think what they're going for at the end is for you, the dumb 70s audience, to be like, wow, he's dressed like a lady, but he ain't no lady. That means he's bad.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I feel like they played that up a lot.
Yeah, like the angle of like going down, like especially like the shirt ripping open for no reason, just to reveal that he's put on like the proper undergarments, like that. There's no reason to do that other than to phone home like, no, this guy really is weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Everybody like nudge the 70s idiot next to you.
Yeah, loosen your tie a little. Like, oh, geez, I don't know about that. I don't know so much about this stuff.
Like, you don't see him, like, it's almost like the depraved bisexual stereotype, except he never like kisses a dude, basically.
Right, yeah. I mean, the thing that I kind of compared it to in my head was, has either of you guys seen the film Dog Day Afternoon with Al Pacino?
No.
I
feel bad to Minnie and being on a movie podcast, but I'm not.
That's okay. This is a Christmas movie podcast. If you know about a Christmas movie, it's great. It's a regular movie, it's fine. But so Dog Day Afternoon, Al Pacino is a bank robber who his whole motive is to rob a bank to raise money for his SO's sex change operation. And it's played 100% completely, absolutely straight. No, but there's really nothing made of it at all as like, oh, this is transgressive and weird. It's just this is how it is. This is who he is, and that's fine.
Is it based on a true story?
I want to say it's based on a book. I'm not sure if the book was based on a true story.
Okay,
but so that's kind of the vibe that I got, where like that movie kind of treated it fairly straightforward. But then this one, there's something a little bit lascivious about it, and I can't quite put my finger on it. I don't know where I was going with that tangent, but yeah.
I think the problem is that we've seen like Silence of the Lambs and Boondock Saints, and we know that not strictly conforming to gender norms is movie shorthand for like, this guy's a fucking psycho.
Yeah. And also just the fact that, we're so far removed from that now that it like these things play much differently today than they did back then. So it's hard to tell kind of what the intent even was at the time.
Yeah.
But
Anyway, to wrap this up, they get into a little argument where it's like, you came early, like, no, you need to give me all the money. Cullen outsmarts him once again because he sets off the alarm. He shows Rankle that he's written a note in Rankle's, like, forged Rankle's handwriting on another, like, give me the money note. And then he yells, "Oh no, don't shoot!"
Yeah.
It gets everyone's attention. Everyone loses their shit. Rankle shoots Cullen. The security guard shoots and kills Rankle in a very prolonged, like, scene.
The injured Rankle, like, tries to flee by, like, staggering up a downward moving escalator.
And the camera sticks on him as he, like, falls over and slides back down the escalator.
Yeah.
And when the security guard runs over, he, like, tries to tell the security guard, like, hey, like, he's in on it. But he ends up telling him, like, he gave me the bank's money. And the security guy's just like, who the fuck's money was he supposed to give you?
Right.
It's a pretty good punchline to end the film on.
Yeah.
It's a small moment of levity, honestly.
Yeah. We definitely needed it at that point.
Yeah.
But Cullen had stashed the money because he did take it out of the safety deposit box. He stashed it in a briefcase that Julie finds. She gets on the ambulance with him with it. She definitely knows what's going on, but they had talked earlier about, like, wouldn't it be nice to just get away?
Mm-hmm.
And they had also had a earlier conversation about what would you do if you had that kind of money that got stolen. And Julie was just like, I just get away from here.
And Miles says, I would buy a puffer fish. What would you do with $48,000? I would buy an exotic fish. I would buy a pinball machine, but that's just me. Gentlemen, I ask you, with $48,000, what would you do?
Ugh. I mean, honestly, the most sensible thing to do is pay down any outstanding debts.
Naturally.
It's the most boring dad answer. Pay down our mortgage.
That is the least funny. That is the least funny thing you could have possibly said in that moment, Brad.
I mean, I'm here for a reason, right?
I gave my honest answer. I totally would buy a pinball machine. Hell, I'd probably buy 5, you know?
Let's say, okay, all right. Let me think about my answer in a world where I'm not... If I have to spend it on something like that.
Something frivolous.
Gosh, I'd probably get... Oh, I don't know.
I would incur other frivolous debts and use that money to pay it off.
No, real talk. I'd probably get, like, a really nice tabletop table and also an automatic mahjong table. Just completely unnecessary.
Yeah. I mean, you would definitely get use out of it, though, right? It's not for no reason.
Yeah, but... And a couple arcade machines.
Jonathan, what about you?
I wish for more wishes. I would bet it all on red.
I did the math, and $48,000 in 1978 money would be about $200,000 in today's dollars. So,
oh, that's a lot more. Honestly, I could do a lot more dumb stuff with that.
Yeah, I could buy 20 pinball machines. Are you kidding me?
I mean, yeah.
All right, I've run that one into the ground. So
Julie and Miles decide they're quitting their jobs and they've stolen the money. Smash cut. Cheeseburger in Paradise starts playing.
Really?
No.
I honestly couldn't remember what song the film ended on.
I don't even think, what was it, 78 this came out?
Yeah.
I don't think Mr. Buffett had penned Cheeseburger in Paradise yet.
Brad, I hate to inform you, Cheeseburger in Paradise came out in March of 1978.
Oh, it's perfect.
I also like...
No.
I like on...
it would be too good.
It would be perfect. I also like on the Wikipedia page for Cheeseburger in Paradise, the image that they give you is the image for the Japanese single.
It's
completely unnecessary. Completely unnecessary.
Oh, here's another little fun fact. This was filmed at the Eaton Center in Toronto. I realized I have been to that mall.
Really?
Really?
Do you remember?
It's fine.
Do you recall seeing a bank there?
No, I don't. but I was reading on the Wikipedia trivia page they filmed it in a real bank in the real Eaton Center. So there you have it.
Authenticity.
Yes. I only ate at like one place on like the very edge of it, and then
Remember malls?
dipped. Yeah,
I do. Oh, another quote-unquote fun fact from the Wikipedia page. The beheading scene in this film was added against the wishes of the director by
Really?
the studio.
Dang. I guess they felt like it wasn't exploitation-y
I
enough.
guess.
Yeah, this is definitely an exploitation.
Oh,
film,
100%. But it says here, Elliot Gould shot the scene with another director, and he said, quote, "I was not happy about it." So interesting stuff there. But so yeah, I guess that's as good an opportunity as any to jump over to the crankometer, where we have to rate and review this film on an XY axis, because that's the kind of thing we do around here. The X axis is our Christmas scale, how Christmassy a film is. Goes from -5 to +5, and the y-axis is how good a film is. So, gents, how Christmassy is The Silent Partner?
It's not very, but it's kinda. I don't know. I'm almost gonna give it a Christmas neutral rating.
I'm kind of with you there, yeah.
Like, I think it probably nails a little bit of that Christmas feeling. You got the mall going on, you got the mall Santa, you got the Christmas rush, Christmas parties, but it's all just kind of set dressing. This could have happened another time of year.
Yeah.
As the theory goes. And this one actually kind of lends more credence to that theory that, technically 1/12 of all movies or stories should take place around, in December, in the throes of Christmas time. And this one you see over the extent of a year.
Yeah. It works out, yeah.
Stands to reason that this story may begin around Christmas
And
time.
there's nothing to say that Wrinkle couldn't have disguised himself as something other than a Santa Claus, It's just
Canada Day, man.
yeah. A hockey player, Wayne.
A beaver costume. He's in a beaver costume.
Beaver costume. He could have walked into the bank dressed as Tim Horton,
Who is I believe is a hockey player.
Yes, that's the joke.
Don't get it
That's
twisted.
the joke.
I see. Got it.
But
All right.
it doesn't necessarily matter, is what we're saying. It is kind of
Right.
just it adds to the mood and the flavor of the film that there's Christmas things going on, and I feel like the film could have played up the mall at Christmas kind of angle more, but they didn't really need to. It's not what the film's about.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, yeah, zero. I'm with you there. John, what do you think?
Yeah, I appreciate the fact that this movie worked some Christmassy nonsense into it. It was wholly unnecessary. It didn't really detract from the movie either that it did it, so I'll allow it.
Okay.
All right.
Let's move on. So then the y-axis, how good was the Silent Partner? I think we were all somewhat impressed with this one.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's very much up our alley, and I realize this is not going to be for every taste and everybody's cup of tea, and that's fine. But if you're looking for a straightforward, like, adult cat and mouse kind of thriller with bank robbery stuff going on in it, this is a good time. I really enjoy it.
I mean, this is a strange word to use because this word has so many different meanings, but this movie is just a mood.
Yes, it is.
And you're right. It's just that it's like a little bit of that Christmas malaise going on. It's got a little bit of just,
pure exploitation.
It's just 70s sleaze.
It's just got a little bit of like an existential crisis, because like all Miles wants in this world is just to enjoy some fancy fish. He doesn't really care about being a bank teller, and I can get with that. I understand that vibe.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, it worked for me. So I'm willing to give this a 4. I would say the thing that keeps it from a 5 is
it's got some pretty strong misogyny going on in places.
It's got kind of a mean misogynistic
streak.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can say it's partly a product of the times, but it shouldn't get a pass for it.
Right, no. And I agree with that. And just because I enjoyed, everything around it does not mean I also enjoyed those parts either.
Right. Nobody's trying to say that.
Julie gets kind of sidelined, and that's kind of a shame. And Elaine's character is just a mess. So, yeah, I'm willing to give this a 4, but I can't really, in good conscience, say it's any better than that.
Yeah, not that the movie, not that I think we're necessarily saying the movie should have been less violent or had less nudity in it necessarily. It was just like it could have managed to pull it off without being so creepy about it, I guess.
I think it even had less to do with like the exploitation elements and more the way the female characters were written, I would say.
Yeah.
In a lot of cases.
Agreed.
But yeah. No, I would say like a 3 or a 4. I definitely enjoyed the suspense of it, and I thought a lot of the shots were very nice. I like all that like kind of grimy night scenery. And we get it through like a 70s look.
Yeah.
I was into it. I liked it. Yeah, I'd agree with a 4.
Yeah.
I thought it was very good. I liked it. I know we say this a lot on this show. I know we say this a lot on this show whenever a movie is actually good, but I enjoyed it a lot more than I was expecting to enjoy.
Right. I think we're just so programmed to expect trash that when a real movie shows up, we're kind of surprised and blindsided by it.
Or good trash.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Oh, no.
No.
Well, and then I guess, too, it kind of hits that sweet spot for me right now because, we're a month and a half removed from Christmas, and it's just kind of that late winter blah kind of mood. And, I'm not feeling particularly upbeat or chipper, and this film, it did the trick.
Is not.
But it fed that scratch that itch, I guess I'll say that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that settles it. This is a 0 positive 4 on our crankometer. It's a pretty good start to the year. Christmas Chronicles 2 and Rhapsody Street Kids notwithstanding.
God, what a wet fart of a beginning of the season.
Yeah, I know, right? But it's only going to get stranger from here because we've got some fun stuff planned for 2021.
Yeah, we do.
Is there anything we want to tease? Because I feel like if we say it on the show, then we have to do it.
No.
Okay.
We'll leave you in suspense. You've paid for the seat, but you'll only need the edge.
We're gonna watch Air Bud.
We're not watching Air Bud. It doesn't have any Christmas elements.
Neither did this, and that didn't stop us.
It had Christmas elements. Come
I
on.
know. I'm just playing along.
There's a Santa on the poster.
I know. I'm just playing along. Jeez, guys.
I think I threw this idea at Joe before. I want to take just a week or like an episode or two sometime and just be like, hey, whoever tells us a movie, we'll watch it.
Just
tell us it's a Christmas movie and we'll watch it.
First in the door gets it, basically.
Yeah. Or draw from a hat or whatever. Yeah.
End very poorly for all of us.
Yeah, because I feel like...
Or maybe it might end out really well. Who knows?
I feel like that's either going to go one of two ways. It's either going to go like, y'all should do Home Alone, or, hey, y'all should do Schindler's List. Like, it's going to be something turbo appropriate that we just either have done before or haven't yet, or something that is entirely, antithetical to the show.
Yeah.
It's going to be one or the other. But that might be a fun exercise in the summertime when we're just desperate for content. But until then, there's still plenty of year left, so we'll see what happens.
We'd like to thank you for being desperate for content by listening to this entire episode.
Hey! That was pretty good. So yes, thank you so much for listening to Christmas Creeps. It's been a fun evening talking about a film that we've all just discovered. If you want to watch along with us, you can find The Silent Partner currently on the Criterion channel, if you have that. Or I'm sure DVDs are readily available.
It's on YouTube if you want to pay $4.
That's true.
It's unavailable on all your digital rental sites.
Or if you want Joe's Criterion password, hit me up.
BRB, just going to change my password.
probably a good idea regardless.
But so come on back for the next episode of Christmas Creeps. Until then, you can find us on the internet at Christmas Creeps on Twitter, or email us anything you'd like, questions or comments or recommendations for weird shit you want to see us do on this show this year at xmascreeps@gmail.com. Don't forget to subscribe through your favorite podcatcher. Tell a friend about the show, because we love it and we want you to love it too, and we want to grow the audience and Christmas madness all year round, because it's just a fun thing for us to do. All the fun stuff, all the podcast stuff that we always tell you to do, you know what it is. So that's gonna do it for Christmas Creeps. I have been Joseph Wade.
I'm Bradford.
I just want to clarify something real quick. When we say grow the audience, we mean like in number, not like in size. So like, of all the things you can send to us to xmascreeps@gmail.com or whatever it is, like self-insert inflation fanfic, like no.
Welcome to Cronut Creeps. It's our new Feeders podcast.
Oh my God, you guys. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Happy Christmas. Happy Christmas.